Hey everybody, welcome back to Heart for Games. I'm Tony.
And I'm John.
And I've been getting this question quite a bit on social media. Question being, all right, we got the NES Classic, we got the Super Nintendo Classic, and guess what? The Super Nintendo Classic has the unreleased Star Fox 2. So, when we eventually get the N64 Mini, the N64 Classic, do you think we're going to get EarthBound 64? Some people ask me, do you think we're going to get Ura Zelda? And the reason people are asking this is because of the Star Fox 2 and because they released EarthBound Beginnings on the Wii U.
Yeah, so my opinion is if they would have also released EarthBound Beginnings on the NES Classic, that might give me more reason to think it's there, but I'm not entirely sure EarthBound 64 is even like a completed game.
Yeah.
And is it completed enough it could be completed?
You got to keep in mind that when it comes to kind of bringing games back or like unreleased games, those sort of things, Nintendo has been in the past incredibly lazy. I mean, think about they won't even they'll port EarthBound Beginnings, but not Mother 3. I mean, come on. So, but the reason why is because EarthBound Beginnings, Mother 0, Mother 1, whatever you want to call it, was already localized.
Yeah, they already translated it. They already did all the editing and censoring and stuff like that.
There was no work to be done on it. Star Fox 2 was 100% complete.
Yeah.
And for the same reason that they didn't release EarthBound 0 or Mother 1, you know, it was kind of in between console generations. They didn't want to focus on the NES anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Super Nintendo and Star Fox 2. They didn't want to focus on it anymore. So they had these things 100% in the bag, ready to go. But they just opted not to. So, you know, I know people are really excited for unreleased N64 games, but you got to keep in mind that Nintendo's never released an unfinished game. They're
not EA.
yeah. Well, yeah. Good point. There's no way in hell they're going to go back and complete EarthBound 64 for this. They're lazy as hell. Like, why would they do that? Like, it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
I think there's probably also a bit of cynicism in them trying to, like, bring Mother 3 over here, where it's like, okay, there are already translation patches, and you can already buy repro carts that have that, and you can already do all of this on the native hardware. How much money is in it for us, and is it worth hiring a translation team to go back in there and do that?
Yeah, well, it's all about money at the end of the day, you know. And realistically,
and did the game age well?
I think it did. A lot of the fans say that it's one of their favorite games. We're also not going to get the real Ura Zelda because, again, the development team abandoned it to start working on Majora's Mask. So you're not going to get an unfinished game where they have to go back and like recode stuff for the N64.
Amazing if they did. Yeah. But one of the big issues is a lot of the people who would know how to work on all of that old stuff, they're retired. They're gone.
Yeah. So, you know, the question remains like, okay, so let's say we do get some sort of a surprise release with the N64 Classic. Mm-hmm. You know, what do we think it'll be? I have two ideas, but you go first.
So I think a likely thing they'll probably release would be F-Zero X with the DD expansion in it. If they were going to do anything, that would by far, if you're going to take anything off of the DD that was completed, that's amazing.
I think
that's hot.
If they were to take anything off the DD, they probably would do that. I think that there's probably two reasons why they won't. One, they would have to localize and translate it, which again, they're lazy as hell. They're not going to do that.
That is true. I mean, it is. They would at least have one part of the game translated, and then they just have to translate the expansion part.
Yeah. Yes. Which is
minimal,
less to do.
Still work.
But, you know, getting the N64 to perfectly emulate on a separate device is one thing. Getting it to emulate the disk drive is something else entirely. Mm-hmm. So there probably would be more work than they'd be willing to do. However, you know, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I do think that if we were to get a surprise release, I do think it would probably be Master Quest.
Just the same Master Quest that came out for the GameCube, or
probably just the same Master Quest that came out for the GameCube, because that was just an N64 port. And that's all it would be. Maybe they would press a button and mirror it. So it's a little bit more different, like in the 3DS version.
A time attack mode or something like that. Yeah.
Which, you know, a mirrored Master Quest also, like, it kind of disorients you enough between that and the rearranged dungeons that you do kind of feel like you're having a different experience.
Yes.
But it's not a Ura Zelda. You know, I know some of you will argue, but
it's also the laziest way to say you get double the content. It's like it would be like Subway saying that they have every permutation of every single type of sub you could make with every single topping and being like, that's right, we have 53,000 subs.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't. You have like 10 and some toppings.
Yeah.
And like, nope, 53,000.
You know, I do wonder, like, I mean, are there really any other unreleased but finished, like, first-party N64 titles that they might want to release? I know Dinosaur Planet, which was a Rare game, not first party.
Oh, that would
was
be interesting.
Very close. But then they might not, because they kind of released it on the GameCube as Star Fox Adventures. You know?
Would it be the original one before they were just like, we're putting Star Fox in?
Yes, because
Crystal, you're backstage now, or not backstage, background character, backdoor character.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's only on DeviantArt.
Oh yes, that. But you know, that's. I mean, yes, on the N64 it didn't have any Star Fox stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was I think it was basically more or less complete. I think very close.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
And everybody was like, nobody's going to play this game. Nothing is recognizable in it. But I don't think that's the case, because it seemed a touch more like a Jet Force Gemini game.
Mm-hmm.
And that had no established characters whatsoever. And it did really well.
Yeah. I mean, aside from that, I don't think there will be any, like, surprise releases. There's nothing that really necessarily comes to mind.
There's going to be a whole bunch of frustrating omissions.
Yeah. So on that note, let's go ahead and, you know, obviously this is purely speculation. Let's speculate some games that will be on the N64 Classic. Obviously, you're going to get your Mario 64. You're going to get your Ocarina of Time. You're going to get your Majora's Mask. You're going to get your Wave Race. You're probably going to get F-Zero. If Nintendo still recognizes F-Zero exists at that point in time.
What Zero?
Yeah, exactly.
GoldenEye.
Wasn't
he the guy in Mega Man?
Yes,
Zero?
yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, I could see GoldenEye, but licensing James Bond might be tricky. They might just opt for Perfect Dark.
I think they'll do Perfect Dark regardless.
Yeah, but Rare is with Microsoft now.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. They have Rare games on the Virtual Console.
Oh, yeah, right.
So
right.
I think, you know, Perfect Dark, maybe not. GoldenEye, I don't know how that licensing works, but I mean, I think people would be pretty pissed if there wasn't GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I think there pretty much has to be. Mario Kart.
There's a big question here.
Okay.
Because there were two great karting games for that console. And we know the internet loves to start gigantic arguments and debates. Politics, culture, race, gender, they love screaming about all of it, but none of them are as important as the Mario Kart versus Diddy Kong wars.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to come back to the forefront. There will be riots on the street, by guns, a bunker, a bug-out bag, everything you need to do to prep for the doomsday of only one of them getting announced for that. Because they're going to go, well, we don't need two karting games on this. Why would we do that? I hope Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct, okay.
Because was it Killer Instinct 2?
Killer Instinct Gold.
Killer Instinct Gold.
Yeah. Mischief Makers would be great, but I doubt it. Yeah. I doubt they'll put it on there.
Mischief Makers is more of like a cult hit. I don't know that, like, everybody... Turok, maybe.
I think probably Turok 1 and or 2. Number 3 was kind of a black sheep.
I was going to say they might do the rental store where they do 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 or 1 and 2 but not 3.
Yeah. Probably Shadows of the Empire will be on there.
Yeah.
I think that was a pretty popular earlier N64 title.
I think Pod Racer there's a chance, like if they're going to go with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Those will probably be too.
That's a solid title.
Those are probably maybe Rogue Squadron too if they go with Star Wars. Because if they get Star Wars, they're probably going to put a couple of them on there.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is huge again.
And Rogue Squadron was a great game.
Oh, Rogue Squadron was amazing.
Yeah. Definitely Quest 64. Obviously, will be the first game or the first option to choose from.
No, you have to
Quest
beat that
64.
one before you can play the others.
I love how, yeah, exactly. I love how we did the Quest 64 beta quest, and we just had so many people being like, what are you talking about? Quest 64 is a great game. I loved that game as a kid, blah, blah, blah. And
Well, as a kid, play it again. It didn't age well.
and they were being sincere about it. But even when I was a kid, I thought it fucking sucked. Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, Smash Brothers. Everybody's gonna lose their shit.
Because what they're going to do is they're going to get fucking pissed that you can't plug in a GameCube controller into the N64 Classic, and then they'll just throw it away.
No, someone will make an adapter.
Ah, okay, perfect.
And then that'll be it. Because I know that they're all insanely obsessed with making sure that like it has to be the right type of CRT, and it has to be all of these specific settings. And they're a little over obsessed.
No,
like,
not the Smash community. You know, a big question for us was whether they'd include either of the Pokemon Stadium games because they interface with your Pokemon game cart for the Game Boy. So would you really be able to get the full benefit of Pokemon Stadium? I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let's see what else. You know, there's Pokemon Snap, which was pretty popular. Some more rare games.
Won't age well, but
No.
people may have some extreme nostalgia for it.
Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, not with Stop and Swap enabled, obviously.
There's gonna be some like weird choices.
Yeah.
Like there's always some strange choices on those lists. And strange omissions.
Yes. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel. If you're interested in continuing to support the channel, we do have new Patreon rewards that you may be interested in. So definitely check out the card above and the link below, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you for asking that question, by the way.
Yeah, it's gonna get a lot of hot topic clicks.
Hopefully not from actual hot topic.
And then when it's actually announced, you guys will come back and be like, you guys are fucking idiots and didn't actually realize that you thought that Pilowings was going to be on there, you dumb sons of bitches.
Yeah, but
it's just 20 copies of Jet Force Gemini.
But we'll get even more people that say, hey, this game isn't on there, what are you talking about? But that just refuse to look at the timestamp and realize that it was like a year and a half in advance of it actually being released.
You see, the problem is that no one's ever going to actually get a physical one.
That's true.
They made like 5 NES classics. They're going to make like 10 Super Nintendo classics.
They're going to
and
make 15.
they're gonna, 15. We gotta wait for the GameCube Classic to get the 20.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. My wrist kind of
I really hope they do like a Game Boy Advance Classic.
They might not.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be handheld.
Let us know if you want a Virtual Boy Classic in the near future, which they will never do. They want to pretend that doesn't exist like the DD.
They could just release it as one app that has everything. If you have like Google Cardboard or Daydream or something like that. And bam, you're done.
That's it.
You got it. You Bluetooth that thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And John, I do think we did a significant job of extending the runtime, the watch time of this video.
Oh, I thought you meant of just waving.
Oh, well, no, that too, because, you're extending the watch time is kind of what YouTube's looking for. So, we do appreciate you watching to the end.
I'm certain one of your neighbors is like looking in the window and like, what are those dumbasses up to right now?
What are those young whippersnappers doing with their hands? We'll see you next time.
I'm not going to stop.
Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and a share, and we will see you guys next time.